talking about this question of, some people will get online. I know I've had this question before. It's just like, why don't I get any attention on social media? Why don't I get any more followers on social media? I'm out here. I know I'm cute. I'm trying to, I put my face out there. I'm trying, I'm trying to talk and be social a little bit, but some people have that question. It doesn't seem to work. They don't seem to be making the connections that they want to make, whether it's friendships or whether it's getting attention from other guys and getting the DMs. A lot of these people talk about, what you do in the DMs and all this DM stuff. And some people are just like, well, my DMs are dry. And it's like, well, how the heck, where does this happen? This seems like a fairy tale existence where people are just flooding your DMs. So I'm curious, where do you think the problem lies with somebody like that? Why don't we start with Darian? I know you're not the social media person, but I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that.
I would say, because mine's almost kind of intentional, if you will. I don't post a lot of, like, I have, going back to what Mama Shay said earlier, I have certain accounts for certain things. And so Twitter is more like a sounding board, if anything. Instagram, I usually post my pictures there. And then Facebook, I stay connected with my family when I want to talk to them. And I haven't been on Facebook in a while, so that explains that one. But as far as getting followers and connecting with people, it's not necessarily been a big thing, because I've discovered that what gets you followers is if you've been on there, say, like the pre-Twitter days, like a lot of the people that connected on Twitter actually have been on there since like the Yahoo days. So a lot of that came from the early Twitter days when they connected. The second thing is, I believe skin is for the win. And so
you mean like thirst traps?
Basically, if you are on there showing skin, people tend to be drawn toward that and will follow you. I mean, this is strictly my opinion, and based on what I've observed personally. And then finally, I think one of the other factors is that if you are just this outrageous, confident, bold, outspoken person and say a lot of sometimes off the wall things, I think that attracts people to you as well. More so from the conflict side in that arena than it does from anything else. But your responses, depending on, and especially if you are messy, that actually will get you a lot of attention as well. So those are the three things I think played a big factor into the amount of connections a person has, especially if they have a lot more followers than they do than people they follow.
Yeah. I'm curious what you guys think about that. I feel like what you're saying is that it's almost like, like the shade room effect. Like, you just kind of put something crazy out there and then people start talking about it or talking about you and quote tweeting it. And like, we've seen it sometimes where people will just like, okay, you're really just trolling just to get some attention right now. But they're still getting it and it's still working. And it's like, annoying as hell. It's like, I can't just be a normal person on social media. At least to some people, that's how it feels. You can't just be a normal person on social media and get any kind of traction or any kind of attention from this that the people say that you should be able to get. I'm curious where you stand on this, Marcus.
It's a bit difficult for me to kind of figure out where I stand, because a lot of times I don't be like really concerned about the follow count or what have you. Um, I have, whatever, I don't even know, whatever number I have of followers. And that's cool. Most of the people who have followed me is usually because I've like tweeted something. Because I do a lot of live tweeting. I do a lot of, like just like posts, like threads and things of that sort. So a lot of people who I follow end up coming from that. Um, and that just be me just doing what have you. I think that if your goal is to have a whole lot of followers, then you kind of do have to do those sort of like quote unquote outlandish things. Because you have to think about it just I mean, even outside of social media life. Like we people are celebrities, people are famous because they do stuff that's above and beyond. Like the reason why the world knows, I don't know, Rihanna and not the pretty girl that lives two doors down from you is because she did all these extra above and beyond things to get people to pay attention to her.
Mhm.
Like, and if you want Rihanna level success, that's kind of what you got to do. And if you're not willing to do that, then you kind of don't want them levels. I mean, to me, that's kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah, yeah. You kind of feel like it's kind of just that simple. I'm curious, why do you not worry about your follower count?
Which is it should I honestly should, because of like the outside of the extra things that I do, from writing and things of that sort. But it's just never really been my bag to just be, really concerned about, oh my God, like, is this gonna go viral? Is this gonna do this? Is this gonna do that? Because I don't care that much about people. I don't care that much.
That part.
But I also recognize that because of things like like wanting to get my series out there and stuff like that, that if I want to up that follow count, I cannot do it. I have literally got to go find somebody who social media is their bag to do it for me because I just don't have the type of investment.
Right, right. Mama Shay, what do you think about what we're talking about so far?
Um, Jarrod has a very intimate knowledge of me since we've known each other for years and our friends. But I couldn't tell you who followed me, who unfollowed me. Well, actually, I can tell you who followed me because I go to look at their profile before I follow back. I'm not a follow for follower type of person. And also, if I see stuff that's controversial that's just not going to jam with me, I'm probably going to do that soft block so you're not following me anymore either.
Okay, so explain what a soft block is, please.
So you can, if someone follows you, you can block them and then unblock them, and it stops them from following you. They'd have to physically come back and follow you again.
And that's on Twitter specifically, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works on any of the other ones, but I know with Twitter, I definitely do that. I have a personal problem with people thinking I am younger than I am. And so I have these young men in their late 20s. And I'm like, you are closer to my baby's age. I could have basically had you. You got to go. This is not a thing. I had a 26-year-old try to fight with me. He was like, I like older women. 2 years is nothing. And I was like, but 14 is something. Please go away.
Right.
So, and then I was lying about stuff. Like he got real in his audacity about it. And so I watch who I let follow me, because then if I do and I don't do a whole bunch of anything as far as pictures go. It's usually like, oh, I actually felt cute today. Here, have my face. So like the people following me and stuff, I don't care. Most of them, I have their phone numbers so I could text them if I felt like it.
But I feel like, Natasha, knowing you get a lot more interactions as far as potential dates. So
a lot more than I would like, yes.
Now, what do you attribute that to? Do you attribute that to being a woman online? Because I hear that that's a thing. I mean, just women in general just always get bombarded with like crazy men just like DMing them whatever nonsense.
So I don't think bombarded it is a good one, because it's like once or twice a month, and it's usually like right after I've posted a picture.
But see, that's like a lot more than what I get, and I'm like,
well,
I should be getting like once or twice a month. Like, come on.
I agree, but I don't personally even attribute that to me. It's when my friends on the Twitter who are much more social, I'm like adjacent to a lot of people. So as soon as I post a picture, they're like, oh my gosh, look, it's actually a picture. She showed her face. And they wind up retweeting it. And then it's like a follower of a follower type of thing that comes.
Okay.
I had one girl who had an OnlyFans for like a month. She was trying to make $3,000. She got it and left. But from that, she, of course, made a whole lot of Twitter friends. So anytime she would repost my picture, I always told her, I was like, I'm blaming you. It's the crazies. But they definitely found their way into my DMs and to the block section. So,
it's just it's so funny. Like, you said you don't pay attention to who's following or who's following, but you're not paying attention to who's unfollowing. I know who's unfollowing me. Okay. Well, at least I try to find out, because I can always go to like, what'd you say?
Like having that little tracker, because those old school trackers that people have not taken off their accounts. I will unfollow you.
Oh yeah. No, I don't want to see that.
They followed this many people. This many people unfollowed. Be like, and add one.
And I can't. I will really I'm like, there's always a 50-50 chance if I see an auto tweet, there's a 50-50 chance of me unfollowing you. Because I need to see some recent tweets within that auto tweet if you're going to do that, because I don't want to see today Aquarius in, Libra moon is doing so-and-so and you're doing well today, boo-boo. Go do you. I'm just like, I just want to know, just get out of here with that. And it usually happens at like early in the morning, like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
That should be sent to email. Your timeline doesn't need to know your horoscope. For what?
That's a sign of somebody that's a sign of somebody who has been on Twitter for a long time, because that was a thing back when Twitter was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Twitter could still be over capacity.
Yes, back when you saw what was it? The
it was whale. Like a whale.
I forget what they called it, but it was
the
hilarious.
fail whale.
The fail whale. Yeah. There you go.
Twitter jail, all that stuff. I remember that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the little whale with the little Twitter birds carrying it across the water.
Born in Sapphire is saying, infamous people will be remembered far longer, such as Gorilla Glue Girl. We will always remember that hashtag, even if they don't remember her real name, Tessica Brown. So there is definitely, a point to be made for people who are just outrageous. Not to say she was outrageous, because I think in her instance, she made a mistake and it just kind of became viral, but it was an outrageous kind of circumstance. And if you can capture a lot of attention like that let's imagine all of a sudden she just did it again, then she would be Gorilla Glue Girl 2, like part 2, the sequel. What were you going to say, Darian?
I said I would have questions if she did that again. Serious questions.
I would not have questions. I would have judgment, but I would know. I'd be like, okay, well, I know what you're trying to do here at this point. She said, hey guys, I glued my hair. If she wanted to do that, I know that it was all a play for popularity or for, attention. So I think when people ask that question, like, why don't I get any followers? You kind of have to wonder what you're doing to kind of grab that attention. Now, that doesn't mean that, I don't think that means that you have to be posting thirst traps, or you have to be posting crazy. I think that those things are the easiest ways of grabbing attention online. But what do you think is the good way to kind of get somebody else's attention, to kind of get people to interact with you and to talk with you online, and to maybe even DM you, whether it's friends or whether it's, in a flirtatious kind of sense, that's not as crazy as what we've been talking about. Mama Shay.
So I guess this kind of leads into what I was going to say too. A lot of times it's who you talk to. And so, like, if it's somebody who you kind of know is just on there, they might be popular, but they're really not trying to sell a brand or something. They're just popular. A lot of times you'll get stuff from, again, just being adjacent to that. But with that, it's like, okay, so just talk to them. Don't try to market yourself to them. look at what they're talking about. If they're always talking about basketball, don't go up in their face talking about unicorns. Like, they don't care. Get away from me. But if it's like, oh, I'm going to this game, who do you think I should root for? Let's, talk about this. Give me some stats, whatever. A lot of times they'll talk to you about whatever they're interested in. So it's really like being at, anywhere else in public. If you're at a Black Lives Matter march, you don't come up being like, hey, did you see the McDonald's cup? They had somebody, or the McDonald's commercial. Well, actually, you could. Did you see the commercial? They had somebody singing about it and talk about the tie-ins there. But it's like, you want to be relatable and don't just go after those people, because I'm sure just like I can, most of you can tell when somebody's coming to you disingenuously.
Right.
So, it's like find the people that you vibe with that are on your same vibe and then go in that direction, and your name kind of gets spread around. It was like that for me in the spiritual circles. We've talked about that side and what I kind of do over there, but we don't, like, I'm not in the major spiritual circles, but my name is known in them regardless.
Okay. That's a very powerful statement. Your name is known, but I just, I dabble a little bit, but they know who I am,
My name is interspaces. My feet have not. Come on.
All right. Man, I love it. I love it.
I mean, you let your name make a name for you.
Okay. I hear that. So you're talking about, are you talking about commenting on people's posts, or are you talking more about like DMing people, or are you talking about, just clarify it a little bit. Because
right.
I'm all over the
place. If I had extra, people that I was kind of just adjacent to, but actually wanted to get to know, I'm going to wait and like, well, actually at that point, if I've been following you for a minute, I should know what your interests are at least, because I've been waiting for an in or what have you. So it would just be like the next time they post about something that I know they're about to be passionate about, I might try and connect over there to add something to it. Gotcha. Not to necessarily retweet it with something that throws them off their point or anything like that. Gotcha. For the DMs, if I feel like DMing you, I'm gonna DM you. If you don't answer, you don't. I don't really have.
Okay. Now that brings up another thing. It's just like, do you appreciate a cold DM from some random person who you've never interacted from? Or do you prefer somebody that has commented on your stuff, or that you had some kind of an interaction with on the timeline or on the feed on Instagram, and then the DM comes? Like, and I'm asking anybody here. What did you say?
I don't care about like if you're following me or whatever. I'm gonna look at your timeline before I respond, and I'm gonna look at how you came at me. And some of it is weird. There was somebody who didn't follow anybody I followed. They hadn't tweeted in 6 months, but I got this random DM that was like, oh my gosh, you're literally like a Disney princess. And I was like, who the hell are you? So like that did not get a response. I have had people adjacent, so followers of followers. And one chick hit me up out of nowhere and was like, are you participating in Teddy Tuesday? And I was just like, what? I was like, what gave you the impression that you, a stranger, can walk
Darien.
Let me know next time that invitation comes through.
I'm weak.
Every
I
Tuesday.
do my until I start doing push-ups again.
And it's like the only thing I've ever mentioned about it is my Tuesday greeting is usually like it's Armpit Revenge Day, put Monday's troubles in a headlock, and celebrate with titties and tacos. So, but like I have never been like, oh, let me post my boobs for this, clothes, unquote. Like I've never had that interaction. So I was just like, who are you? Why?
Right. So that was obvious. Somebody was just trying to see what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't even know where I fall on the heterosexual queer spectrum. So you were just, I was like, I can't knock you. You shot your shot. You missed by a mile. Like, I'm proud of you for trying.
So I'm like, right. So, Focus, I know you said you may have some questions here. So if you have any, raise your, I don't know, let me know. I'm going to ask Marcus a quick question though. Because I have a feeling. I think we've talked a few times, and we know that you do reach out to people. You do DM people, and what is the thing that kind of attracts you, or what is the thing that makes that happen for you to say, oh, let me reach out to this person and see what's good?
So there are two answers to that, and it depends on what way you're talking about me DMing people.
I mean, okay, so let me clarify. So we're talking specifically, I guess we're talking specifically either about friendships or romantic kind of thing.
Those are the two different ways. So you have
Okay, so then let's just run through both of them. Why not? Let's start with friendship, and then I'm assuming we could possibly take it up a notch with romantic. I mean, I know who Marcus is, so I know.
I mean, as far as I think Mama Shay mentioned it. I mean, kind of really kind of led into sort of like the friendship thing. Like, even in real life, I ain't got no problem talking to nobody. So if I see you on the timeline and you're talking about something that I'm interested in, I may jump in like, hey, blase, 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 let's talk. And every so often that will turn to like an extended conversation, because nobody wants to have really extended conversations on the main timeline. So if we are talking about something that's an interest for both of us, and we we kind of like hit it off, that may become something like, oh, we move to DMs, may turn into like exchange phone numbers, which I can say on at least one recent occasion has turned to, hey, we're cool, let's link up, let's meet each other in real life, and go from there. So the friendship thing, it really just kind of starts with a mutual interest. Whatever thing that they may be tweeting about, or vice versa, something that I may be tweeting about that someone finds interest in too, and we start talking about that. The quote unquote romance is purely motivated by lust. Let's just
Okay.
gonna be honest. Purely motivated by lust. Like, I think I've probably made it clear in several of the past episodes that at this point in time, if I'm doing like, ain't no long-term dating happening right now. Let's just say that.
Okay.
So if I'm going for the DMs from that perspective, it's motivated usually by something you have posted, something you have said, or just like, you're like, hey, shoot my shot, see what happens.
Okay.
The worst thing you can do is tell me no.
Got you.
Yeah. And that's kind of, I mean, that's I guess that's kind of also like how I approach like a lot of sort of situations. Like, the worst thing you can do is tell me no. If you tell me no, I'm gonna keep on moving. Like, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that that's a testament to your confidence, to your level of confidence, and and that's another thing. I mean, I think maybe for another day we can talk about, because I think Darian, you talked about if you were to post like your nudes or something, that would just come from a place of confidence and just kind of loving your body, and it is what it is. You don't really care what anybody else has to say.
Right.
Or you don't really care about being rejected or something once you reach out to somebody. And I think that's a really strong place to come from.
Because I know I look good. So
there you go. Exactly.
And that's how you get people in your DMs to come sit on your face.
It
wow.
is. Wow. Can attest.
So wait, what have you? So it's just, is it just a picture or something that you've posted that have gotten you those kinds of DMs?
Who, Marcus or me?
I'm just trying to figure out, because you both said that you have experience in that lane.
Whoa, wait a minute now, because that may be Marcus, but that's not me. That's not my answer. It's a thought, but again, I'm slightly older than the Twitter population, and so unless you are just really that bold, and I know some people in my age group that are that bold. Why, I don't know, to a certain degree, because some of them need to pull back a little bit. It's a little too strong. But again, yeah, I mean, and it's a confidence thing. If that's your thing, yeah. But some people like turn that up a little bit too much, and I'm like, you have to leave, just kind of pull back a little bit. So,
Got
but
you.
as far as me, posting the picture. I don't have people coming in my DMs like that. It's a few, but as far as it doesn't go any further than us talking in the DMs.
Yeah. I feel like you're not really putting that energy out there, and I think that that's kind of the message of this whole conversation, is that you kind of have to put yourself out there in a way that people are gravitating to you in that way.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like I do on some level. I'm not posting thirst traps necessarily, but I am posting myself. I mean, I am posting pictures of myself. I'm not afraid of posting pictures of myself out there. Now, I'm probably not super super opinionated on Twitter, because I know how people like to nitpick and like take stuff, and it becomes a whole thing with like 50 different threads going every which way, and that's not what you meant. And that's why I do this show, because I like to contain the conversation. but I feel like, I do put myself out there enough to, want to attract a few people. Now, I'll get one or two people once in a blue moon, but it's not on the same level as
Mama Shay is telling you no.
What are you saying? What you got to say, Mama Shay?
So, one of my favorite little musicals is Hamilton. And you know how Mr. Burr got kicked off because he walked the middle of the road?
Oh, I haven't seen it. That's probably...
So, historically, Burr did not land on one way or the other. He would talk to the masses very massively. There was no, he would not side with one way or the other in efforts to appeal to both sides.
He rode the fence, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sure his butt had splinters. So, with that being said, the way that I see your account is this, like, I would expect you to have a separate hidden account.
Okay.
The way yours currently runs. So, and that's because I know you personally. So, like, even with the fence writing possible tweets, I'm like, that was said with a smirk, or nah, he meant that. But people who don't know you intimately and closer, they don't know that. So sometimes it doesn't even have to be super controversial, but just knowing where you squarely land,
gotcha.
Can get you some of that interaction. Because even with bad interaction, people know these people. Like the dude who flew to California was like, on the side of bed. I know y'all have all seen that meme. Mr. Pizza Man. Yeah.
I forget that one.
What many new names he has, how he rebrands himself. He gets out of character and somebody said, wasn't that you on the end of the bed? It is.
No.
People know who that man is. So it's not always even like I'm sure he's gotten dates and things since then for people who are like, nah, baby, you're good. They shouldn't have fat shamed you, or they shouldn't have, said whatever. He's not a household name, but in Black Twitter, people know at least that meme. So,
you're gonna have to show me. You have to DM me that meme, because I'm sure I know it, but it's just escaping me right now. But yeah, continue. I'm sorry. I'm
sure there is somebody in Tessica Brown's DMs right at this very moment. I'm sure somebody hopped up on there like that's what it is. Like it gets you out there.
And that definitely wasn't his making. It wasn't his intention. I'm sure none of that. It was just, it happened to work. And now that meme is in so many situations that have nothing to do with him years later.
Yeah. So, I mean, it seems like you may have to, I don't know, I guess almost brand yourself a little bit. I mean, I guess that's kind of what social media is kind of branding yourself a certain way so that people know you for something. And I know me, I'm probably still going to be a fence writer as far as social media is concerned, because that I just don't want to invite the drama. I don't want to invite the because I used to be a lot more opinionated on Twitter, and I just don't like fighting with people online. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, I just if I'm not getting professionally shot by anybody, like a photo shoot, I'm not putting up, thirst traps. Not no crazy. I mean, like I'll put up like a thirst trap once every, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I'll put up like a little thirst trap. But
those Atlantic City shoots, I've been seeing them. I'm like, yes, bestie.
I mean, but I have my clothes on. You know what I'm saying? I'll put up like a style or like a fashion shot. But
there was a towel picture I distinctly remember.
Well, wait, that was like, well, yeah, that's like my one every 6 months.
Common
Where do
misconception.
all this stuff happens. I've never seen not you specifically, but like when all this stuff goes on, I'm like, where am I? Why?
What have to say?
What were you saying, Marcus? I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say common misconception. You can thirst trap with clothes on.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
I've seen some things that thirst after with clothes on. So
Like, oh.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to thirst trap. I was trying to show the length of my locks in one particular picture. And I just happened to have like, I think it wasn't a house dress, but it's just definitely one of my comfy, cozy maxi dresses on. And so to show it, I literally had to go to at least my knees for people to see how long my hair is at this point. I've gotten so many pictures like, move the locks. I want to see the booty hump. And it's like, what? That was about my hair. This had nothing to do with my butt. It wasn't, we just weren't in that space at that point. But people will see that. It's been retweeted here and there for people showing like, I want my locks this long. And then their followers, and they got it from one of their, like it's way back. And I was just like, no, it was not for y'all. It was literally for that conversation.
Wow. Yeah, but I mean, look, you're putting yourself out there, and even unintentionally, you've been receiving some kind of feedback or some kind of you've been getting some attention. And I think for the people that have that question of why am I not getting attention or why am I not getting followers on social media, I mean, I think what we're seeing is that you kind of have to have a clear opinion. You have to put your voice out there and you have to make it known. Whether that is, you can categorize that as branding yourself. I feel like that may be a little too business related. I mean, I use the words brand yourself, but I think it's really just making your opinion known and really just standing firm in who you are. And also, show off a little skin once in a while, or show off a little sexiness once in a while. I think that is another way, and be able to show your face, even if you don't want to be like super sexy or anything like that. Show a cute picture once in a while. If you need some help with that, hire somebody. And if you can't hire anybody, then stick to Twitter and just post your opinions in word form,
Or download Snapchat because they have some cute filters that will hook your face up.
So that brings up a question that I will bring up in splitting the bill with the filters, because I have an opinion about that. But yes, you kind of have to
joke.
But yeah, I mean, you have to put yourself out there. You don't have to be super over the top, but I feel like having a strong opinion, having a strong presence, and I also think being consistent online and not just, because I know in my case, what I've gotten up to 2010 followers, and in the past month or something, I'm back down to like 1993 because I just haven't been posting that much on Twitter. But back when I actually cared, it was up. So it's just like there's a clear correlation to being consistent and being present online. So those are some of the tips that I would leave with our audience if you have been having issues with connecting with people or getting the DMs or anything like that. But also, and I would say that I'm kind of in this boat, if Twitter is not the place for you, then that's cool too. You know, like maybe Twitter is not where you're going to meet the one or where you're going to make a whole lot of friends, or I mean, like even Instagram or Facebook or wherever, you know, because it requires all of these things that I had listed before. And if you're not willing to do the thirst traps, if you're not willing to, um, put your firm opinion out there for the masses to eat up and eat you alive. You know, I get that. Then, you know, find some place where you can kind of flourish and be yourself. And so that's what I would leave you guys with. Um, and focus. Yes.
Yeah, just one quick note on Instagram. You have to be careful with Instagram because their algorithm is mucked up right now. Because even though you post stuff out there, there are certain things there are certain activities that they're trying to push you to in order to help them basically. And that's a whole list of things. If you look it up online, you can find out what actually drives the Instagram algorithm. So just be
Right.
mindful of that as well.
Absolutely. And you can drive yourself crazy looking that stuff up too. So
Yeah.
I would be careful of that because I know that I've kind of gone crazy. And that's why I kind of had to back away because there are endless videos on YouTube about how to be popular on social media. But I think really it kind of dials down to, you know, there's just those simple things of just like being consistent, putting yourself out there. And then once you're doing all those things, you can kind of reach into what Darian is saying and maybe tweak a few things so that you're doing what the algorithm wants you to do. But that's if you want to get that deep with it.